I just want to reiterate here, my main issue is with this entire DLC is that the game modes are behind a paywall. The game modes themselves, I think, have merit. I think there's stuff that you can do with Horde mode, especially if you fixed up the bugs. The PvP arena mode, again, is cool, but as far as why are you being charged for them? Hey guys, Editor Phil here. Just want to say a quick shout out to our sponsor for this video, and that is DOS Print House. Again, they're one of our Twitch sponsors. If you haven't checked them out, if you need anything 3D printed, they're located out of Oregon. It's a small US business. And if you like that sort of thing and you want high quality prints for either something big like this, or maybe a little bit smaller and more intimate like this, whatever you need to do, check them out. I'll have a link down in the description. Mention NGNG. You can also hit him up on Discord in the 3D printing section. His name's Nick. He's a great dude. I've known him literally for years. So make sure to head over to DOS Print House for all of your 3D printing needs. Again, link is in the description. Hey, what's going on, guys? Phil here. Welcome back to some MechWarrior 5 clan news. We have a new DLC, Trials of War. Now, there's a lot to talk about. This is video number 2 I'm recording on. But first and foremost, let's go ahead and just talk about what this is and go over the details. So this is available right now. You can purchase it. There's some trailers, but the overview here is challenge your friends in a PvP arena mode, battling with your star across unique 10 arenas and customize Omnimechs. Team up in co-op horde mode to survive as long as possible against the relentless waves of enemies. With the new challenges unlocked through campaign progression, enhance your arsenal with 12 powerful Omnimech variants featuring customizable Omnipods and unique skins. Compete, cooperate, and conquer like never before. Now, there's a lot there, so let's go ahead and break down. You can watch this trailer if you'd like. So, the first thing they mention is arena mode. You now can do a 5-player, basically free-for-all or melee. It's really up to you. You can switch out teams here. You can sort of see here, there's last mech standing and melee as well. There's also respawns. It's basically you and your buddies can shoot each other, or you can have AI as well. So you can hop on there just by yourself and have 4 AI counterparts. It's really up to you. So when it says PvP, I do want to make this clear. This is not an MWO. This is not MechWarrior Online. This has nothing to do. There's no matchmaking. This isn't a separate thing. This is literally just an arena in the campaign. You go to SimPod and you can click arena mode. This has nothing. It's not separate. It's not like you click instant action. There's nothing like that. This is very, very confusing. I've had many questions on my live stream, which, by the way, I do live stream on Twitch and YouTube now. I'll have links down below in the description. Join us live. It's a great time, 10 a.m. Eastern through 4 p.m. Eastern. This is strictly just a game mode, and it's the host, you, whoever owns this, is hosting, and everybody's connecting to you. Now, to clarify, your friends do not have to own this DLC for you to participate in the arena mode. Only you, the person who's hosting. Okay, so this is the arena mode. There's some difficulties as far as AI in here that you can select. And again, we have 2 modes for the arena. Melee, dive into fast-paced combat with unlimited respawns and an adjustable time limit. Rack up points and dominate arena before time runs out. And then last mech standing, a high stakes simulation where the battle only ends when one warrior or team remains standing. Adjust the number of respawns for added layer of strategy. Okay. With that being said, it's got a bunch of different maps. You're going to recognize these from the MechWarrior 5 Clans campaign. Every single map here is not unique. You've already seen it before if you played the campaign. They basically put bounding boxes, and this is where you play. So there's nothing new. You've already seen this. And again, from, again, you can sort of see here, there are different sized maps here. So again, you have plenty of arenas to choose from if you so do so. Okay, so pretty standard affair, but just keep in mind, like I said, now the next thing is we have horde mode. Horde mode challenges you to endure an escalating onslaught of enemies in 4 weight classes, testing your star's coordination, resilience, combat power, prowess, fight to survive through wave after wave of challenging enemies. Do you and your star have what it takes to conquer the horde mode? Okay. You can team up or just have AI as well. Progression based weight class, you can basically pick light, medium, heavy, and assault. and basically endless waves of escalating combat. Now, you do have repair bays in this, okay? So the nice thing is it's it's not like you never get a chance to repair. There's also ammo crates. There is turrets, and there is a artillery system that you can capture that helps manage things. The map is only one map right now. I'll talk about my experience, but this is what it is. Yeah, you can sort of see some screenshots here. So there is that. The new Omni-Mechs, if you're familiar, there's 12 new Omni-Mechs. We have the Cinder, the Adder, the Kit Fox Purifier, Miss Lynx, Ebon Dragoon. We have the Nova Breaker. We have the Shadowcat Mishishipishupu. Then we have Stormcrow, the Lacerator, Hellbringer, Virago, Mad Dog, the Revenant, Summoner, the Pride. We have the Direwolf, the Widowmaker, Executioner, the Sovereign, Warhawk, the Nanook, and then you're done. So if you're familiar with the MechWarrior Online, we already have all these. We've had these mechs forever. These are 12 new, basically hero omnis and skins that you can get. And then part of the free update is Trueborn difficulty. This is basically if you really want to challenge yourself. We have 8 new Omni Mech and Omni Pods as far as the P's here, and you can look these up. Some of these are actually from MWO. Some of these have been adopted, and yeah. So okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room. A DLC comes out almost a month after. And this is, by the way, guys, that's just, that's it for just what the DLC is. We're going to get into my opinion here, and this is where it's going to be a little bit controversial. And I'm going to talk open and plainly about this. And yeah, so let's go dive in. First off, I want to be very clear. This shouldn't be called a DLC. I feel like this content was rushed out and probably less than a month. There's huge bugs with pretty much everything that, especially Horde mode. Their PGI is now charging for game modes. I asked Russ via Twitter if this is what we can expect moving forward on SimPod game modes, and he pretty much reinforced that that's the fact. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at his response, and then you guys can be the judge of this. My tweet goes, first DLC for MechWarrior 5 Clans is released. I have my review on YouTube, which again, this is the review if you're watching this. This is how much things have changed. Question for Russ. Why are game modes locked behind a paywall? Should we expect this behavior moving forward? Apparently, this tweet is inflammatory and inappropriate to ask, as a fan, if game modes like Arena and Horde mode will be behind paywalls moving forward. To which he responds, I would propose the locked behind paywall is inappropriate in this situation. My response to that is, how's it inappropriate, Russ? It's what it is. The base game received no complaints about value for money within 25 to 40 hours of high quality single player content for that price point. You're correct, it did. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a DLC. And we'll get into this, by the way. You are paying for stuff that some of the other DLCs for Mercs you got for free, like game modes. Horde and Arena did not exist even as planned ideas when clans shipped. So what they're basically saying is the game shipped in October 16th, that these were literally done in less than a month. It shows, because literally Horde mode is unplayable. And yeah, we'll talk about that in just a second. I just want to reiterate here, my main issue is with this entire DLC is that the game modes are behind a paywall. The game modes themselves, I think, have merit. I think there's stuff that you can do with Horde mode, especially if you fixed up the bugs. The PvP arena mode, again, is cool. But as far as why are you being charged for them? You know, I think for me, it would have been really cool, and maybe you guys out there agree, if PGI really wanted people to come back and play the game, especially if you played the campaign once, maybe even more, is this game modes for Arena and Horde mode should have been absolutely for free, and you should have asked for, you know, like a mech add-on pack where we bought it for like $10. So that's my main issue. I have no problem with PGI as far as individually, you, Russ, or anybody else, but apparently this stirred the pot and it was enough to break off relationships. So moving forward, don't expect any sponsorships and or anything like that. Probably not even a podcast because this is too inflammatory. If it sounds a little bit like drama, it is, and it is what it is now. But yeah, so how do you guys feel? Well, I think I know how you feel. I think I know how a lot of people feel. But on the night that I made this tweet, I was under the impression that I'm the only one who felt that way, that I'm alone and on an island. But is that true? Well, let's take a look. There are 39 reviews that match the filters above, which I just pulled these up directly. So I just went to the clan, mostly negative. There's 47 total, mostly negative. I do know this. I know publishers or parent companies like EG7 or even PGI pay attention to this. Now, most of these, if you read through them, everything has already been said, but I wanted to add to the count. Piranha, you owe your loyal fans much more than this 1/3 of the full game price. So price, value. MechWarrior 5 Clan DLC Trials of War is Desgra behavior in DLC form. For context, this review is post hotfix number 4. If further fixes come out post-review, then there may be some alterations to issues and bugs. I mentioned this DLC review, so there's a review here. I know that devs need to make money to support the business and deliver future DLCs, but €20 for some content which is already finished on release date and has just cut from the base game. Now, according to Russ and other devs, that's not the case. And I believe some of the other devs. But even then, come on, this is just a new game mode, PvP, which is probably dead on arrival, and some variants for existing mech chassis, not even new mechs, even with 20% discount. This is still massively overpriced. I enjoyed it. Horde mode is fun. Some new variants is a nice little touch. You access some stuff from the Simpod and the barracks, by the way, which, again, Simpod, great. I agree with him. The Horde mode could be fun. You're probably going to get bored of it really quick, especially if you're crashing. You're going to be really bored with it. But there's potential there. So again, don't want to be totally negative here. There's positives. I personally don't care about this DLC a lot. It's no much value, and I only consider it as PGI support option. Basically, 3 existing DLCs are just like different patron plans, but it was definitely a bad idea to make it like that. I hope they've learned their lesson. Mark my words, this content could have been a free update that may have appeased the fan base. It's unfair that this content was made separate $20 purchase that only make reasonable when more content that should have been in it at launch, mainly the 2C. Okay. The most deceptive business practices of them all. If you bought the base game and wondered where the rest of it was, here it is. This is what they stripped away from the base game to sell back to you 1 month later. And even with this added DLC, it still doesn't meet the launch version of MechWarrior 5 mercs. Everyone should refund this as soon as possible. PGI should have to ship this with day 1 base game. This is absolutely shameless behavior. Create the problem and sell the solution. That's okay, PGI. I'll refund the solution and walk away from the problem. Edit, there's no way to quit the Horde mode. And based on what I can tell, there's no rewards either. So there you guys go. On top of that, not enough stuff, too much. Okay, we can continue going on. Okay, so let me go back here and I'll give you my thoughts on everything. So as I've talked about, my main gripe here, and I've been told I've created a mountain out of a molehill, and I quote by certain individuals. This is a precedent. I talked to Magic Penglove and I talked to Naveed, and I'm going to be releasing a separate audio, or actually video and audio, of where we basically did like a 2-hour long podcast. If you'd like to listen to that, go check out that video. We've got a few different perspectives. I can appreciate where Magic Penglove is coming from, because he is afraid that if PGI releases this, the arena mode, and it's testing PvP, and all of a sudden it's got all the hate in the world, which, by the way, it's not the hate of the game mode, it's the hate that you're charging for it. So there is a distinction, that PGI won't recognize that and just sort of pull the rugs, from underneath your feet as far as PvP. Let me be very clear here. The game modes aren't the issue here. Horde mode, even though it's a little bit boring right now, it's super buggy. We can't even finish a full round of it. There's potential there. The arena mode, there's potential. I want to encourage PGI in developing more stuff down the road based on this. I'd like to see a successor to MWO. My issue is you are charging for content that should be free. I do not like that there's game modes behind a paywall. Look, if you've played through the game, you're probably not going to come back just for this. and it seems sort of just out of place. It's a great way, by the way, arena mode, or I should say, horde mode is a great way to get milestones for your mechs. Me and Meta found that out earlier. You can get all the light mech kills, all the assault kills, all the vehicle kills, and pretty much one go of it really, really quickly. That's nice. But it just, like, you can't get that unless you pay an extra additional $16 on sale or $20 if it's full price. Not to mention the price is sort of absurd. The base game is what, $50, and you're asking almost half of that for this? I don't know where PGI goes on this. Really, at the end of the day, you have to speak with your wallet. Now, I do have this DLC. It's probably the last relationship handout. I'd like to say thank you to Darren for getting me the code for the DLC before I guess I opened up my mouth. But I will put my foot down. Like, if they release content like this in the future, I will not buy it. I think as a customer, that's, on principle. I don't feel like anything under the sim pod, which is supplemental to your main game. And it's not like Mercs where, there's other stuff to do. It's like the game's over, like you're done. It's supplemental to help you get experience for your pilots. And that's really all it adds. So anyways, there's a lot going on here. I need to know what you guys feel like. And I think the Steam reviews are pretty self-explanatory on how a lot of people feel. So really the question is, what is PGI going to do? I don't know. It would have been nice, instead of Russ being defensive, of him just saying, hey, that's your opinion. We'll take that into account. And, but to say it's inappropriate, I think was, the wrong way about it. Look, man, you make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. If you're not willing to be self-analyzing and say, hey, maybe actually we screwed up, we shouldn't have done this. I mean, I think that says more about that said individual or company than, same thing with me. If I mess up, I'm going to own it. And anyways, this is my review. So let's talk about the horde mode really quick before we get going. I have not been able to finish a horde mode game. That's right. I had a repair bay bug where you shut down to get repairs, and then you don't ever come back from that, even though the battle continues. We had multiple instances where me and Meta had to restart the client twice to get it to finally connect to each other. It's annoying. Let's see. I had a bug where scan mode was locked. I couldn't get out of scan mode, so I had to restart again. Oh, and by the way, the first time I had the repair bug, I think we were in round 5. So, you got a good 20 minutes invested already. The next part was Meta got the repair bug on round, I think, 10 or 11. So we were already almost an hour into it, and all that progression was basically lost because we had to stop the simulation. That's it. As far as the horde mode in general, it's, again, I would find it very boring after once or twice doing it. There's a lot of potential there. There needs to be more stuff for you to do, more stuff to explore out. You do have artillery and you do have turret support, but none of them shows up on your minimap. You have to use scan mode and then go over there. Well, if you're in slower mech, it's one of those where you definitely want 5 humans and not just AI. Speaking of AI, the AI multitude of times did not listen to my commands. Like, hey, go get repaired. I'm going to position you. That's another issue. Positioning on the map. You've got so many areas where you can't position friendly units. And anyways, multiple times, I think we would have probably ended up failing on horde mode just because my my AI lance mates or star mates weren't listening, and then they get caught in the middle of nowhere and enemies are lining right on top of you and you just die. So I don't know what's going on there. So AI behavior, but I haven't been able to finish a horde mode because of either a crash, a lockup, a friendly lockup. It's super frustrating. And apparently I'm not the only one having that. Let's talk about arena mode. I think it's cool from the technical perspective, and I'm gonna give a shout out again to Magic Panglove. I want to see more of this. I think if you made a 5v5 or a 5-player sort of conquest game mode where they have their base, we have their base, there's creep, almost like a MOBA, if you will. That's what Living Legends game mode was. but maybe friendlies could be over there or with you. Regardless, it could be quite fun. But as far as arena mode, I spent 10 minutes in it and I had no interest. Also, if your friends are using the FPS mode, a direwolf can move like this, which is just absolutely comical. Add inertia to the FPS mode. I still don't know why that hasn't been done. It's so janky looking. It's like, I don't know what's going on there, but I'd rather just go play MechWarrior Online. There's no balance to it. It's AI. I don't feel like I'm fighting anything that's using any rational or brain power on there. I think it could be fun with your buddies hopping on there to blow each other up. But like, other than that, I think MW. Oh, and I guess the other thing with that is like, I can just invite 23 other people to a lobby in MWO completely for free, and we can have balanced PvP if we want. So again, I encourage this mode to be developed more. I think there's stuff there. I discourage it being behind a paywall. I think that is just absurd. Yeah, so arena and horde mode. My overall experience is arena mode is cool from a technical perspective, that you're able to do a connect and have PvP over, of course, network, the internet. Horde mode, I'd like to see more of that. I think it needs a lot of work. I think the gameplay loop needs a lot of work, and I'd like to see sort of what comes out of that. But again, I want to be very clear. My main issue with this DLC PGI is that you are charging people for 2 game modes that should remain free. And going forward, more stuff in your sim pod. If you want people to come back and play your game, which by the way has no replayability, MechWarrior 5 Clans has no replayability, none whatsoever. It's the exact same enemies spawning from the exact same spots, doing the exact same behavior. It's not even like you're spawning different mechs based on a different playthrough. No, it's the exact same thing. So this is all supplemental. I mean, it's stuff that is supposed to help you gain XP. That's cool, but also just sort of like, hey, you know what? Maybe you do incorporate it in your campaign. Maybe you have hey guys, we've got a week or week and a half. Go do some arena mode and test your skills against some of your other, star mates and freshen up the skills or whatever it is. But I don't see a path forward where if you're charging for SimPod game modes, it's gonna be a positive one. I just don't see that happening. Again, there's no replayability in the product itself. Now, all that being said, I'm looking forward to an actual DLC. I think that's also another issue. This shouldn't have been called a DLC. This should have been a free update with what we were talking about, arena mode and horde mode. And here's some free, variants. And then, here's an add-on pack. I look forward to seeing what's actually done for a DLC. And I'll be the first one to say it. I'm looking forward to more storyline content, and I will purchase it. But if it's stuff like this that's behind a paywall, I'm not a fan. Now, Magic Panglove did bring up a point. He said, well, PGI is just repeating what they did before. And what he means by that is there were some Mech 5 Mercs DLCs that had game modes, career mode, that had modes behind a paywall. The difference here is there's no replayability. There's nothing here for you. And then on top of that, even the Mech 5 Mercs DLCs, some of them didn't. Some of the game modes were absolutely free. So it's 2 different products. I think what Magic was right where they were like, hey, I don't see a big deal. We did this before and what's fine. It's like, yeah, because I could hop on. I could continue building my Merc company and move around and do these missions. And I'm going to see these game modes on planets and blah, blah, blah. That's not the case here. This is totally supplemental to a linear, non-replayable storyline that doesn't change. You have to self-impose rules on you, like plain stock, or like, hey, we're only going to use X amount of mechs, or what type of mechs. But anyways, guys, I feel like I've harped on this enough, but I will be releasing that other lengthy discussion that I think Naveed and Magic bring a great point of view to But yeah, I'm highly disappointed with this. I'm highly disappointed with the behavior. Moving forward, if PGI decides to release content like this behind a paywall, I will not be supporting it and I will not be covering it. And yeah, I think that's the only thing I can do as a customer and as a fan, literally a diehard, lifelong fan of the series. That's all I got. So if you agree with me there, if you disagree with me, that's fine. Let me know down in the comment section. Join us on Discord if you haven't done so already. And again, join us live on our stream over on Twitch and YouTube now. But yeah, that's going to be it for me. I hope to see you guys on the next video. Until next time. No Guts, No Galaxy hats are now available at nogutsnogalaxy.net. Get yours today.